This is Benny.
And this is Dhruv. And today we are going to review the trailer of the Nigerian movie called 93 Days. This, I think, is already on Netflix. And if I read the IMDb description, it says, when the deadliest infectious disease, Ebola, known to man arrives in Lagos, 21 million people are affected. It actually had nominations from Africa Movie Academy Award for the best film. The director is Steve Gukas. And the cast is Seun, Ajayi, Bimbo Akintola, Zara Udofia Ijoh, Kepi, Ekpeong Bassi. It also has Danny Glover, which is very interesting. Danny Glover was in Lethal Weapon. I don't know if you've seen it. Yeah.
Right.
He was with Mel Gibson, so he is in this as well.
Oh,
And,
good.
yeah, and many other cast members. And this is a 2019 movie. So yeah.
What's the problem?
We have a patient here, a diplomat brought in by ECOWAS. His temperature is very high.
This is a viral infection, a serious infection.
I think we have a problem developing here.
Nigeria was a mere spectator to the deadly Ebola crisis, sweeping West Africa, but now there are fears that country could be on the verge of becoming the next hot zone for the virus, with health officials there warning every nation and every individual is at risk.
Lagos is a city of over 21 million people. We simply cannot afford an Ebola outbreak in Lagos.
There aren't many things more in the public good than preventing a possible Ebola outbreak.
I want to know exactly why you are holding one of my nationals in your hospital.
I think I'm right. I know I am.
Everything in Nigeria is politics, you know that.
Stop! Stop! Don't tell me to calm down. Why?
Oh my God. This is the best we can do. We cannot take anything for granted.
It started.
A lot of our people had primary contacts.
You all need to take your temperature twice a day. Anything above 38 degrees Celsius, you need to tell us right away.
Dr. Badamosi, the question is not if we'll get patients, it's when we'll get them. But the real question is, will we be ready to receive them when they get here?
It is now time for us to do the job that we are here to do.
We can't do this. I know what Ebola can do. Trust me, nothing terrifies me more. The only way to deal with this bastard is to deal with it.
Everybody's scared here. People are scared.
Is this what you want? Is this what you are willing to allow to happen in this city?
Most of us live our lives without ever really understanding how connected we are.
Stay back, stay back.
But then one day, something happens. Something that changes the way you look at the world. Changes your life forever.
This is crazy to see a trailer like this. I mean, we are seeing this in 2021 and this is from 2019. It's crazy that this already happened, right? Like in the sense that we are now in Corona times and something like this happened way, like just a little while ago before Corona.
Yeah.
And, you know, when Corona hit, there was this video that really went viral. It was by Bill Gates. When Ebola happened, Bill Gates is very invested in the health and well-being of many African nations. He has provided a lot of help to those nations. And when Ebola happened, Bill Gates gave a talk about being prepared and having the right kind of funds and preparation for something like this, because this is not going to be the last thing that happens. And he was so right. And crazily, his video went viral during Corona because it was a premonition to what was to come. That you can't be unprepared for something like this, but that's also at the same time human nature, where it's very based on what's right now. you're not going to prepare for an asteroid possibly hitting the Earth, for example. You're never going to be prepared enough for something like a super volcano exploding. There is one that is active, I think it is in Yellowstone, that if it explodes, there will be a nuclear winter. And it's very likely that it can explode. No one knows when. That's one thing, like you can't be enough prepared, but at the same time, no matter how much preparation you do, you cannot face Mother Nature. There are no solutions to big, large fires. There's no solutions to tsunamis. There's no solutions to hurricanes. All you can do is try and evade it. And these are those times when human beings are reminded of that sometimes we get too into our heads that, human race is the most amazing, most powerful thing, but you are not above Mother Nature. The other thing that I really liked, the sentence in the movie where she mentioned is, these are the times when you see how connected you are. And that's what we realize with Corona. Like, it's not, if one country is not performing well, it is everyone's problem, because everybody is connected. We are all connected. And this showed us how connected we are. 6 degrees of separation. It started with one person in China and now it's global. It became a part of us. That's how connected we are. This is a good lesson in that. There's so many lessons we have learned from the pandemic that we have been in. And the crazy thing is there was a premonition to Corona.
Premonition, yes, you can say that, you can question how did he have a premonition like that, Bill Gates, and you can have various assumptions about it. But then these are assumptions, and once, you can have your assumptions, you can have your interpretations, but maybe he had a vision, maybe he was helping those countries for some time, and this Ebola struck just a little bit before the coronavirus struck. And so maybe he had a vision about it. And other than that, I feel that, it is times of adversity, times of disaster, when human beings realize that they actually need each other. And as you said, yes, we are connected, whether we agree to it or not. But, when it's like when we watched Independence Day, the movie, it's like when we have aliens to face, we all come together as human beings. Until then, we are, oh, you're an American, you're a Japanese, you're a, I don't know, Israeli or whatever. At that time, we have our differences. But when we have a common enemy, we're going to stick together. It's like, like when your kids, your siblings could be your rivals for various different things. But when you have the parent who's going to scold all of you, you all stick together. No, nothing happened. It was just a mistake. We didn't do anything. Those kind of things.
Well, it's been interesting because Corona has also, yes, it has taught us that with a larger perspective. But when Corona did come out in the beginning, there was a lot of discrimination going on. There was this is because of you people, and this has come from your country. There were so many things, right? But if you really, blaming is easy, but if you really want to solve the problem, it's everyone's problem. And the other thing is, I said that it's a premonition, but it's not like Bill Gates was super intelligent. Of course, he is super intelligent, but it's not rocket science. These kind of things have happened throughout history. And yet these things have never been prioritized. For example, there was some conversation about, I saw this documentary on 9/11, for example, and top 5 things in terms of budgeting for the US, terrorism was not on the top 5 before 9/11. Until then, it was other different kinds of things, healthcare, this, that, whatever. After 9/11, it has been one of the top 5 things in US's agenda. And that also shows human nature, that until it actually happens, you don't do much about it. Otherwise, it's like living in paranoia. At the same time, I can play the devil's advocate. I know certain people who are if there is an apocalyptic situation, then I have all this stuff here. I have my hunting gear. But why are you assuming that there will be an apocalyptic situation? And at the same time, why am I assuming there won't be an apocalyptic situation? There could be one, right? Yeah. So what is the right way to go? No one knows, But actually, I'll tell you this. Africa is one of the last places where corona spread. South Africa was one of the last places where corona spread. So it's just interesting. Either they were, because of the lessons they learned from Ebola, they were able to prepare well. In these situations, you get to see interesting things because there were countries like Singapore and Vietnam and New Zealand and Australia and Sweden who did so well in managing corona versus some of the most powerful nations, struggling.
And you see how one of the patients, how he reacts. He takes out all the intravenous or the needles that are inside him, and he's kind of agitated, and he's not having faith in the doctors. Well, you can relate to that because even the doctors are not really aware what is going on. I mean, in such a situation, even the doctors are trying to find a foothold as to what actually is happening, and you as a doctor are not really aware whether the treatment is going to work or not, whether you're not doing anything worse, but you have to treat the patient anyways. And the patient, when he knows the doctor is not sure, so that's the time when the patient is going to be really, really scared for his life. It's like, if I'm going to die, I don't want to die in a hospital maybe, or I don't want to die out of wrong treatment. Maybe I'll survive on my own. It becomes a kind of a survival instinct to just trust your gut feeling and not trust anyone else at all.
Yeah.
So you can relate to that. I mean, you saw the woman, she's being sent in an ambulance. That's the kind of scenes we saw right now during COVID. Even little children, they had to be sent off by the parents all by themselves. And that is truly heartbreaking when you can't go along with your kid. I mean, for a parent, there's nothing worse than that. Imagine a 7-year-old kid, a 5-year-old kid who is just given a bag of clothes and necessities and has to walk off by himself and get himself seated in an ambulance and rush off to the hospital. That is so heartbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, your point is so valid because you saw her mother just looking at her and they were spraying behind her. It's hard, and you also don't know if that person, your loved one, is infected or not, and if they will return or not, or what kind of things will happen to them. I think the other thing also we saw in the trailer, which I really think is very high pressure, is when high position individuals, politicians or whoever, have to take this pressure and actually find a solution. And it's such a tough situation. I think this was the toughest situation for anyone's presidency or anyone's high position that they had ever probably dealt with in their lifetime. Like, this is because you don't have room for mistake, and mistakes are inevitable in an unknown situation, and then you have to live with the fact that because of one such decision, maybe thousands of people died, and that's such a tough, high pressure, horrendous situation to be in. There is no right answer, there is no right way to do things, and you have to choose the best of two evils basically, because in either situation you're gonna have loss of lives.
Yeah, this reminds me of a dialogue from Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
And I mean, no matter what, you have to take a decision. People, your nation's lives are in your hand, and you're not sure what is the correct thing to do. You have to just take a decision which seems to be the most appropriate, and you have to live by that.
And we saw that during Corona. We saw that first they were like, don't wear masks. Then they were like, wear masks. And me being a data analyst, for example, right? If you make even a little bit of a mistake or even a little bit of a judgment error, it kind of ruins people's trust towards you in an instant. Then you have to work consistently over a few months to build that trust up again. And I feel like you can't help it. It's bound to happen. It's bound to happen by you as a person. It's bound to happen by governments. No one can understand the kind of pressure decision makers have to go through. Complaining is easy, but like to find a solution is very, very hard. And that is what I feel like I have seen with Corona. It's a very, very tricky situation to be in power at that time. It was one of the worst times in anyone's lifetime, basically.
True. And I would like to add that for people who put duty before rights, I think things went smoother. When they realized, when the action was taken upon, my duty to my nation is first, my duty towards my people is first, and my rights come later. Those were the people who did better in the corona situation. So yeah, morals, they matter and they save lives too, I would say.
Yeah, it depends on the situation completely depends on the situation. And this was one of those situations. Like, I mean, at the end, you can't really make rules that this works and this doesn't, because there might be an opposing situation that might come about, and an opposing direction. Because, for example, I'll give you a counter example of that. In our cultures, listening to authorities or respecting your elders is a thing. In the US, it's about freedom of speech. There are no boundaries. If you want to speak something, you're going to speak something, no matter who it is, even if it's the president of the country. So there was some report in one of these countries, and I don't want to be wrong in which country, but in one of the Asian countries, there were more recorded plane crashes. And the reason being that when there is a pilot and a co-pilot, the co-pilot, who would be a younger pilot, might see the danger coming or an issue coming, but because of their cultural background, they would not stand up to or oppose the senior pilot. And so the senior pilot would end up sometimes making a very bad decision and costing lives. So in different scenarios, different things work. So yeah, it's an interesting scenario, and it's interesting to look back at a trailer which talks about something that feels like a premonition just before Corona happened. And it's crazy to see any such videos, that this actually, it felt like it was nature's warning to us and we didn't see it. But there's so many things out there, like how can you generalize? All right, guys, so if you liked our video, please subscribe to our channel. Also, actually go ahead and like the button if you liked. Go ahead. Actually go ahead and hit the like button if you actually liked our video. And hit that bell icon so that you're notified every time we upload a new video. We usually do that on Mondays. And let us know how we're doing, if there are any other comments, if there's any suggestions on, there's a motorcycle there, by the way. If there are any suggestions on what we should be reviewing next, or any podcast ideas, anything that you want us to do that you think might be a good fit for our channel, then let us know. We are completely open to suggestions and we would welcome and appreciate those. Until next time, फिर मिलेंगे.